Today I would like to share a very powerful analogy that I use with my students all the time, especially right before holiday seasons, when people is about to take like 2 or 3 week break. It's very useful because it usually helps encouraging them to keep practicing during that holiday. I call it the escalator analogy. It is an analogy that really helps understanding the process of learning because it's very easy to understand. You probably go through this at least once or twice a day. You, like many others, probably commute at least once or twice a day, either from home to school or from home to work. Wherever you want to go, you have to commute, either taking the train or the subway or whatever. So at some point you want to go from one floor to another. In order for you to move from one floor to another, you usually look for the easiest way, either taking the stairs or the elevator or the escalator. But for the sake of this example, we're gonna think about the escalator. So you go towards the escalator, but there is a problem. The escalator is going the opposite direction. So you want to move upwards, but the escalator is going downwards. So what do you do in this scenario? Do you try to go upwards? No, right? You try to find a different way, an easier way, because that will take a lot of effort and it will be dangerous. But what happens if you do? What happens if you try to go upwards, the escalator that is going downwards? It takes a lot of effort, right? It will be really, really difficult. It will take you way longer to go upwards, the escalator that is going downwards, than taking a different approach. When I was a kid, I remember trying to beat the escalator, meaning sometimes I would try to go in the opposite direction in the escalators. I was trying to reach the top of the escalator in the opposite direction. Please don't try this. Don't put yourself in danger. I used to do it sometimes because I was a kid and I didn't really realize about the consequences of doing something dangerous like this. But sometimes I would actually beat the escalator and it felt great. The reason why it felt great, it was because I was doing something really difficult. I had achieved something really complicated physically. I beat the machine. I achieved something that nobody else was trying to do because of obvious reasons, because it was dangerous. But the point is, when I was trying to beat the escalator but stopped in the middle of it, I will go back towards square one again. I will go back to the beginning of the process. I will go back to the beginning of the escalator. The escalator automatically will take me back there, back to square one. Now let's transpose this example into music. Progress in music is very much like walking upwards on a descending escalator. It demands continuous effort and determination. It's about defying the odds, pushing against the natural forces that pull you back, pushing against the machine. When you invest a lot of time and energy, you can actually beat the escalator. You can beat the downward motion. You can progress. You are ascending towards your musical goals. But the moment you stop, the escalator automatically takes you back. Reality takes you back to where you were before you were practicing. When you fully understand this analogy, it really helps you realize how progress is not only about moving forward, but also about consistency. If you practice something for a few weeks, but then you stop, then you go back to square one. Maybe not all the way, but it usually takes more time and takes you longer to achieve your goals, your musical goals, if you stop practicing for a long enough period of time. It's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym every single day for, let's say, 6 months, little by little the exercises you are doing become easier. But if you stop training for a few days and then you go back to the gym, it's way harder to go back to those exercises, right? Does that make sense? It's something similar. So if you are going to take a little break from practicing music, I understand, I have done that at some point, of course. Life happens. Maybe you have a family, maybe you have other jobs, maybe you have other commitments. It's understandable. Try at least for the break not to be too long. If you usually practice, for example, 1 hour every day, during the break you are taking, try to spend at least 10-15 minutes or even 5 minutes in front of your keyboard or in front of your instrument. Because then when you go back to your full practice routines, it's going to be really, really hard. And that disencourages a lot of people. Because then you go back to your instrument and I was getting better, but now it's gonna take me again so much effort to go back to where I was before. So don't do that. Instead, try to find small, simple routines that you can do every day. Even if it's a really short amount of time, that's gonna help you a lot. Stay focused, but especially stay consistent. Don't forget to spend a little bit of time into your practice sessions, because otherwise, the escalator will take you back to step one. So use this analogy and think a little bit about it whenever you are about to take a break. It will definitely help you a lot not to forget that you have to practice at least a little bit, so you don't go back to step one. So if you enjoyed this video and would like to support the channel, please check out my online shop in the description down below. In there, you will find plenty of books and content I create for the modern jazz player. And if you have any questions about this or any other topics, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to help. That's all for today. I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.